Immaculately styled, obsessively engineered and outrageously potent, the DBS Superleggera claims to be every inch the Aston Martin Flagship. We're here to decide whether it's a truly credible expression of everything an ultimate Aston Martin sports car should stand for. At launch in 2018, it was billed as the fastest and most powerful road car the brand had ever built, and we're going to test it.
Building a track-focused super sports car is one thing. Building a super powerful Grand Touring GT sports coupe is another. Can the two genres really be combined? Super GT sports cars like this one reckon they can. Aston Martin's take on the concept may not be super light, as its Italian-derived badging promises, but this DBS model's pulling power surpasses anything that rivals can muster. The 5.2-litre V12 puts out a thumping 900 newton-meters of torque and develops 715 horsepower, enough to propel the car to 62 miles an hour in 3.4 seconds and 100 miles an hour in 6.4 seconds, on the way to a top speed of 211 miles an hour. Rivals struggle to deliver this kind of power in a form able to engage and reward drivers of all ability levels, but the Superleggera is a car in which you don't need to be a hero to really enjoy. Ostensibly, it shares much with its lesser DB11 stablemate, not only that model's top engine, but also its aluminium chassis and its 8-speed torque converter ZF Auto gearbox. The differences in all three areas, though, are pretty significant. For a start, the V12 power plant puts out 85 horsepower more than it does in a DB11 AMR. Then there's the fact that the bonnet, roof and rear deck that clothe that aluminium chassis are fashioned from weight-saving carbon fibre rather than steel. And that auto transmission has a shorter final drive ratio than the box used in the DB11 and is strengthened to cope with smoky motorways. There's also a revised quad exhaust, bespoke suspension geometry, wider tracks, a stiffer chassis with a tweaked front anti-roll bar, stickier, wider Pirelli P0 tyres, and a whole range of aero tweaks that can deliver as much as 180 kilograms of high-speed downforce. GT, Sport and Sport Plus options are provided for drive mode selection and Skyhook adaptive damping with Sport Plus, delivering the evocative popping and banging on the overrun that you'd want to hear from such a classic sports car. And a carefully honed DTV or dynamic torque vectoring system that allows you to fire the car from bend to bend to the baritone accompaniment of that glorious V12. There's a special feel here that no other model from the brand manages to quite replicate, creating the kind of GT the old Vanquish always should have been. The result is a car you have to try to understand everything an Aston Martin can be. Not before time, Aston Martin is giving its cars more distinct individual personalities. This one will turn heads like no DB11 or Vantage model ever would, described by stylist Marek Reichman as a brute in a suit. Bulging in all the right places, it's extreme, intimidating, pugnacious and aggressive, which the kind of people who buy cars like this will probably like very much. And inside, well, essentially, what's delivered here is an upgraded DB11, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That car set fresh standards for the quality of Aston Martin interior design, and this one enhances that formula with a well-judged package of embellishments. These gorgeous Caithness leather-trimmed, hip-hugging Sports Plus seats are perhaps the most obvious change, and once you get comfortable on them, you might begin to take in other cabin developments over that lesser model, like this squared-off race-style Sports Plus steering wheel with its longer, full-length fixed paddle shifters, and the shapelier hooded sports instrument binnacle with its aggressively layered stitched top. Not all the finishing is appropriate to a car of this exalted price, and some might object to switchgear and an infotainment screen sourced from previous generation Mercedes models. Still, most of the media features you'd want to find are included, and it's easy to get comfortable in front of a digital dash display dominated by a central rev counter, which changes in colour according to the drive mode selected. In keeping with this Superleggera's GT remit, you get a pair of rear seats. Now, you won't be expecting much as an adult. You've really got to be quite athletic to squeeze yourself back here. And once inside, there'll be almost no legroom at all, unless those ahead choose to be accommodating. Plus, as you can see, your head's likely to be brushing the stitched ceiling. Finally, let's take a look out back. Now, the 270-litre boot is the same size as that you get in a DB11, which makes it 50 litres smaller than that in a rival Ferrari 812 Superfast. Sensibility might dictate that on cross-continental journeys, you should fill this area with the optional bespoke 4-bag designer luggage kit so that you can maximise every inch of it. Ultimately, what's important here is that the DBS formula is a traditionally Aston Martin one, which is rather reassuring in an era in which the brand is diversifying into uncharted territory like hybrid technology, mid-engine motoring and SUVs. Now, engineering like that is needed if the company's future is to be sustainable, but the marque can't afford to forget its heritage in producing the kind of classic Super GT that small boys can dream about and wealthy enthusiasts can aspire to. So, we welcome the Superleggera. There's nothing quite like it.